Okay, so our demonstrator tonight is the talented, prolific Mike Killelea. And Sally Trainer is going to tell us a little bit about him.
I'm curious.
You're curious? Okay. Should we take notes?
Well, it will be a very little bit because I know you all read what was in the water bucket. I just want to say a couple of things. I admire Mike and his talent a lot. I am grateful to him for the years that he has spent putting together our programs, bringing people from all over the country, expanding that job when we had Zoom available to us, so we are no longer constrained by geography and we don't have to pay to bring somebody in when we can do a Zoom demonstration. All that stuff is, it was pioneering at first, but he quickly adapted to it and just scoured the United States and a few other countries to find people who did Zoom, because when we first were forced into it, not everybody did. But I think you can all say that you appreciate that function, that it has changed our group a lot. It's wonderful to have that access. I also wanted to say something about his method of working. He is the inveterate plein air painter, rain or shine, snow, sleet, hail. He goes out and paints. Poor car, the car gets the real damage when it's bad weather. He is also a very considerate painter because he often will paint on private property. And when he does that, he gets out of the car and wherever he's set up, and he walks up to the house and knocks on the door and asks permission to be on the property, which is a very courteous thing to do, and it's probably saved his hide from nasty dogs and chasing bulls and things. But at any rate, he also gets to chatting with the person that answers the door. And first he finds out how long they've lived there, then how long their family has lived there, how old the buildings are, what the land grant was, and he then, when he posts that picture, puts a little story, a little narration with the painting. So he is a chronicler of Western New York, as he was when he lived in Long Island. And he's Irish, and I believe the word is Shawnee. Shanachie. It's really Shan, not Sean. So she, well, Shanachie. I looked it up.
Tough to spell.
No, I looked it up for the pronunciation. I asked him how to spell it. I mean, say it. At any rate, that's a word for an Irish storyteller, and there are people who keep the history and lore of Ireland alive, and they like to talk, and I think it probably describes Michael as well. Michael, please paint.
Okay. I didn't know what she was going to say. So, I brought my daughter along because she's a techie and she's helping me with some of this stuff. So before I start, she's going to play a recording of the Erie Canal song by Pete Seeger. So, Kristen, can you play that?
She's a good old worker and a good old pal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. We've hauled some barges in our day, filled with lumber, coal and hay, and we know every inch of the way from Albany to Buffalo. Low bridge, everybody down. Low bridge for we come into a town. And you'll always know your neighbor, you'll always know your pal if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal. We better look around for a job, old gal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal, 'cause you bet your life I'd never part with Sal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. Get up there, mule, here comes a lock. We'll make Rome about 6 o'clock. One more trip and back we'll go. Right back home to Buffalo. Low Bridge, everybody down. Low Bridge, for a coming to a town. And you'll always know your neighbor, you'll always know your pal if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal. Where would I be if I lost my pal? 15 miles on the Erie Canal. I'd like to see a mule half as good as Sal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. A friend of mine once got her saw. Now he's got a broken jaw. 'Cause she let fly with her iron toe and kicked him on to Buffalo. Low Bridge, everybody down. Low Bridge, or we're coming to town. And you'll always know your neighbor, you'll always know your pal if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal.
I think you've got a budding chorus here.
Well, I didn't expect the audience to participate, but I'm not surprised. Let me see, there's a clip.
Down here somewhere?
I'll put it in my pocket here. All right. Does that work? Can you hear me all right? Yeah. Okay. So I thank you very much, particularly because at 8:15 tonight, you may be thinking about other places, other things. I will be, but not going to cut short. So thank you, those who came and decided to listen to me talk, the Shanachie, rather than listen to the Bills, which should be, according to my son-in-law, who is a football nut, won't be much of a game for Dallas. I also wanted to say, Sally mentioned, and many of you know this, I guess many of you know, that I am not from here. I am from Long Island, in case you ever need to pronounce New York, but I've sort of modified that. I also want to say something about my daughter, who is from Long Island and moved here recently. She's always been really helpful. She's going to shoot me for this, but I worked for a good part of my life in newspapers. And I worked for Newsday, if anybody knows what that is. It's a paper on Long Island. At one point, it was the 6th largest paper in America. And I started working there in the promotion department. And that just meant whatever they needed. They didn't have a promotion department, and they were growing at that point. They started a Sunday edition not too long after that. And so they wanted a promotion department that would amplify whatever they had. So I took Kristen's picture when she was, Kristen, 4 maybe, when you were 4? Yeah. Kristen was, they had a program around the holidays called Adopt a Family. And I thought, well, let me see. So I took a picture of Kristen. She was always a very happy kid. She's a pretty happy lady now. She was always a very happy kid. And so I said to her, I wanted to take your picture, Kristen. She had a Raggedy Ann doll and an old sweater, and she was too happy, and I sort of scolded her. So she scowled, and I took her picture. That picture was on every Newsday truck all over Long Island. So she's famous, Kristen. So anyway, I wanted to say something about how I paint or what I paint. Sally mentioned plein air. I really am kind of a nut about that. I usually use these. I will paint on this half sheet tonight. But I go places, I see things that are interesting, and I don't ever go on somebody's property without asking first. And people invariably are flattered that you think their, whatever it is, house or barn, is something worth painting. Well, of course it is, you know. My wife used to say to me, I painted with a group of painters that we called the all-weather gang. There were 6 or 10 of us. We would meet in Leroy, or Leroy, depends on what part of the town you come from. And we would have breakfast on a Saturday morning, and then we would talk about, well, let's see where we're going to paint today, and we'd go out and paint something. Well, if you're familiar with Leroy, there's a lot of farms around there. And so I would come home every Saturday, and my wife would say, well, okay, so let me see, what'd you do? And I'd show her, and she'd say, oh, another barn. So that worked fine. That worked fine for a long time. I'm just thrilled to be able to do what I do. I'm sure that you're here because you have this in you, this desire to paint, you want to see things, you want to see it when it comes out. I'm always tickled. You can page through this book. This is Sani, S-A-N-I, Sani. They're people, or they used to be called Laplanders. It's up north of the Arctic Circle in Norway. This is a picture. I paint every place I go. I have a smaller kit. I don't want to take this big kit, which is a very good kit, but I don't want to take this on a plane because you've seen them throw things around and it'll get damaged. So I have a smaller kit that I use. This is from Shelter Island on Long Island. This is a beach on the north shore of Long Island, Sunken Meadow. It's a pretty place, very windy day. Thought that came out all right. I love this one. We went to stay with some friends a couple of weeks back, and I painted in Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen is the most visited park in New York State. So, but it's a lot of climbing. So we drove to the top and walked down Jacob's Ladder, which was quite steep, stone steps, and I got to a flat place, and this is the view looking back. I thought that worked out really nice. This is a very unique railroad station in Tuxedo, New York. I've driven past it. My brother lives not far from there, and I just thought, wow, that's really an interesting looking building. It was designed in 1858 for Tuxedo. You probably don't know anything about Tuxedo, but it was designed to be the home for wealthy people who would commute into New York City. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff there. I'm not sure exactly what this is. It's on Route 14 near Watkins Glen. There are a lot of vineyards if you know Seneca Lake. That's Seneca Lake in the background. And I'm still searching for the name of that place. Anyway, so I paint when I'm traveling with this. This is 140 pound, I think. Yes, 140 pound. When I'm home, and I do paint from home, and I do paint from pictures, and I'm going to do that tonight, I paint on arches, usually a quarter sheet. I traveled around. I'm not sure, Sally, why you thought to ask me to do this tonight. I thought it was because I kept painting the Erie Canal. So there's a collection of pictures over there. Two of them, the two ones at the far right, are in an exhibition at the Brothers of Mercy in Akron. I think it's Akron. Clarence, sorry. And there are 30 or 35 paintings, 36, something like that, okay. Anyway, there's a lot of really nice paintings. People were told, you don't have to paint anything. You could write a song about it. You could do some sculpture about it. It just went through a large variety of things. And so I paint. I chose to paint. And I always have the stories that go with them. So the painting on the far right, which has a little tunnel, is the only place in the whole Erie Canal in New York State where a road goes under the canal. So, not Clarence Street. What's the street? Don't know. Somebody knows. Somebody knows. Catherine? The street is? Okay, it's a street. It's Culvert, that's right. It's about 2 miles east of Medina. And I just thought it was interesting. So I look for things that I find are interesting, and they could be in the dumbest places. You do not, I believe strongly, you do not need to go to the Grand Canyon to find a majestic painting. It could be, I will have an exhibition, a solo exhibition, at the Buffalo Botanical Garden, starting October 29th and going to the end of November, or maybe December. And I was doing captions for them this afternoon, and I thought about, I live in Elma, and so I thought about how many places just in my neighborhood, I just painted pictures. So you don't need to go to some exotic place. Just look around. I think that if you decide that you want to do a painting of something, it's what you put into that painting. It doesn't have to be, I keep saying that, it doesn't have to be an exotic location, but it's something that you felt something about. I've painted near the dump in my town, I've painted in marshes, I've painted just all kinds of things. I have a painting that I'm going to do tonight, and I'm going to show you this picture. I don't know where this is. It's on the Erie Canal, but if you want to take a look and somebody might want to guess at where it is, that would be great, because I could label it correctly. But I've asked people in a number of places, people that I thought might have some idea. Nobody seems to be able to tell me where. So that's all right. It's a painting. It doesn't matter where it is, and that's what I'm going to paint. So I also want to thank you for inviting me, because I cleaned my palette. I don't clean my palette very often. So what I have done is sketch this image onto this. You probably can't see much of a sketch, but it's in here. There's enough stuff. There's a lot of boats. It's a marina on the Erie Canal, and that's what I'm going to paint. So does anybody have any questions? Can I answer anything? Yes, Carol.
You have an interest in boats, right?
I have belonged to the American Society of Marine Artists for 35 or 40 years.
How long were you president?
I wasn't the president, I was the secretary.
Okay.
I didn't want to be the president, which is why if somebody asked me here, I said, no, I don't want to be the president. I'll do things, I can do things, and I get people to come in here and do demonstrations, people I see that I think do well. But if you grow up on Long Island, I grew up probably 2 miles from a bay and another 2 or 3 miles from the ocean. So I was in the Navy, so I just, I kind of have water in my soul, I guess, something. So I used to paint a lot of boats, a lot of ships. My son, in attempting to convince us to move to Buffalo when I was retired, he said, Dad, there's water here, look on the lake is really big, there are ships out there. I said, yeah, but it doesn't smell right, it's just, that didn't stop him, he kept going. So I gradually have adapted to a place that I love. I love Buffalo. I love everything about Buffalo. It's a much more art-centric place than I ever expected, and I'm really pleased about that. I'm pleased to be here. I'm pleased to be here with this group of artists, other artists, or artists, depending. How long have you been here? 18 years. Yeah, much faster than I ever expected. But time goes quickly. Say again?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Do you ever take artist license and change your?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. This kit, I can't remember the guy's name, he's dead now, but I thought this kit was terrific because it's a pretty standard box, but it has this couple of neat things. This comes up, there's a little arm that comes out so that your paintbrushes can come out, like so. If this goes back, they can't come out. This is a pretty standard John Pike palette. I was painting with a group at the Shinnecock Inlet, which is on the south shore of Long Island. It goes from the Great Peconic Bay, you don't know where this is probably, from the Great Peconic Bay out into the ocean. And I had a class there, and I had this set up. It also stands up, so I'm using it laying flat here, but, I had my palette out there, and a gust of wind came, whoosh, it went into the Shinnecock Canal, and that was the end of it, gone. Oh, that's the chance you take, right? Anything else before I start? No, okay. Inside here, it's got compartments for brushes. Let's take them out. Paper towels, kneaded eraser, a water bottle. It just fits lots of stuff. Spray bottle, which does not go in here. I have attached here a little water spray, but this is much better. So,
Mike, when you're painting plein air,
yes.
do you go right to your paints or do you sketch?
No, I do sketch. Somebody asked me, do I do value sketches? I don't. I sort of see what I'm looking at. I see what caught my eye. And I do a loose, very loose thing because that's my guideline for where I'm going to put the paint. Let's see. Okay, so I will start by wetting the paper because I want, if you paint skies, you know, skies are kind of tough. Because you want the sky to be nice and even, flat. So I wet it. I'm going to let it dry a little bit. Please don't hesitate to ask. I sit here with all you most of the time. This is kind of strange to be on the other side of the camera. I think to myself, well, how do they do that? I don't know, I just do it. I just do it. I was asked tonight, I remember using this in a class I was teaching on Long Island, and I said to the people in the class, there's a secret to painting watercolor. Because everybody knows that there's a secret, but they don't know what it is. So I'm going to tell you the secret. And once I've told you what the secret is, you can go home. You don't need to be here anymore. Okay, you ready? Here's the secret. Here's a pregnant pause. Here's the secret. Just do it. That's it. Just do it. The more you do it, the better you're going to be at it. It's just, you just get better. It's like, I'm saying playing basketball, but knitting or whatever you do, the more you do it, the better you get. So keep that in your minds. Don't be disappointed when you start something and it doesn't come out the way you really imagined it, because, you know, I looked at some of the paintings in here and some of them I like a lot. I like the Watkins Glen. I like the Tuxedo Park. Maybe the Simi guy feeding his reindeer. It's all right. So don't be disappointed. Put it aside. Often, when I've done with something, I put it aside and 2 hours later or 2 weeks later, I'll go back to it and I'll say, oh, that really needs some more punch up here, something darker, or maybe some brighter color or something like that. You can add things to watercolors. It's not totally impossible to do. So,
when you plein air, do you paint an angle?
no, I paint in plein air. I sit because,
Flat.
well, I would do like that.
So it is sort of an angle.
Well, sort of an angle, yeah. I don't have something to stick under here. I could angle it a little bit, but. It's not going to work. Well, I'll paint flat. Now, I do want it elevated a little bit because I want the color to run in while it's wet. And, you know, the clouds just are terrific. Clouds do all kinds of things, so if you don't have it perfectly flat, that's okay. I'm going to tip this up, let it run a little bit. And then darken this on the top. Just let that run down a little bit. Okay. No, too much. Do you talk to yourselves when you paint? Okay.
Do you?
Yes.
You haven't been saying anything.
And I always answer. I get great answers.
Were you grown up when you started painting watercolor?
Was I grown up?
Were you a grown up?
No. You know, in high school, when you graduate from high school, everybody in the class is something. The best athlete, the most likely to succeed, the prettiest girl. I was the most talented boy in a class of 200. So I painted watercolor then. And when I got in the Navy, I mean, I was married and had kids, and when no, the kids came after. You kind of, I started to see, I painted in high school. I did well. I thought I liked what I did. And when I got in the Navy, I thought, well, I could do this. And so maybe I shouldn't talk so much.
You can paint and talk.
I'm going to try.
Okay.
I'm not sure how good I'll be, but I'll try. In the Navy, I thought, well, I think it's cool, as I said before, to paint things that are near you, that you know, that you're familiar with. And so I did that. And the captain, I was on an aircraft carrier, and the captain found out that I was a painter, an artist. And so I figured I would, for the rest of my life, I would be working in the art business somehow. So I applied to be an aviation structural mechanic. I thought I would fix airplanes. I like fixing things. So the captain found out that I was an artist, and he said, I don't think that's the right place for you. So they put me first in air ops, which is the tower where you control, where they control the planes going on and off the ship. Now I was not too long out of boot camp. I guess maybe I was 22 or something. And so we had, I thought, a pretty good career path there, because the job that I had was, there were a line of officers who were talking to the planes and that sort of stuff on the opposite side, and a big, clear, lucite board. And my job was to write the names of the pilot and the plane and when they took off and all that sort of stuff backwards. So they could read it over there. Wow. So I thought that was great training for a job in a used car lot. So I never quite got there. But anyway, after a little while, they decided, I don't want to leave him in there. So they put me in the Air Intelligence Office, and that was a pretty good gig because I did drawings for briefing graphics for the Admiral. There was an Admiral on there. There's always another Admiral. I don't want to forget too much of what I'm supposed to be doing here. And that worked out pretty well. Everybody, especially the lowly seamen, has to go mess cooking. Mess cooking in the Army, anybody here been in KP? And my understanding is that you go KP for a week or something? A weekend or a few days?
Normally it was a day.
A day, okay. In the Navy,
Normally it would end in basic training, and when you go advanced training, you would exempt from
okay. Well,
not my case.
well, this is going to be dark here. In the Navy, they detach you. So you get assigned to the mess cooking for 6 months. Whatever your job was, you're off. Now, some people like that, and I guess there are advantages to it.
Oh, my dad was assigned to the kitchen and all the way through. He
Yeah.
loved it because he could get all the food he
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The only real problem in my mind was mess cooks had aprons, and when they were finished their duty, they would go back to their compartment to sleep, and they would stuff chicken wings and legs in their aprons. Okay, they ate very well, but the roaches also ate pretty well. It was said, that, I never saw this because I didn't go, it was said that the roaches would carry your shoes away at night.
Now, if you shared the chicken wings, yeah,
Yes.
you would probably get money in your shoes.
Well, there was always plenty of food. I love to eat, and that worked out pretty well. But I did not have to go mess cooking, and I was very happy about that. I should also mention, as other demonstrators have done in the past, that those things are for sale if you want. I have to think about a price, but I also have 2 books. I did books of when we lived on Long Island. They're stories. I would write stories. I did the paintings in the 2 books. They're about the farms, and the North Fork of Long Island's East End is very much like this area. Elma is like out among the cows and the corn. And on the North Fork of Long Island, there were a lot of vineyards, there were farms, there were a lot of potatoes used to be there. And gradually, after the Second World War, the golden nematode was a bug that ate the potato crop. Same thing happened in Ireland. And so I would go out there and paint in the vineyards, or paint the farms, paint the barns. There's a picture in one of the books that I would sell at art festivals, and I remember a lady coming up with her mother and her sister and saying, looking at a painting of a building that I had done out there, and she said, "Oh, this is where Uncle Harry used to kill the pigs." I said, "Okay, well, I don't know, but if you say so."
Are you a self-taught painter?
Not totally.
Okay.
Not totally. No, I've taken classes. I don't take a lot of workshops, but I have taken workshops here and in other places. And I really, it's just, you just do it. Just keep doing it. Every painting that I do, I think of as a practice for the next one. I look at what I've done. I see how, maybe you could have done that different or whatever. But I paint. I just paint. It's like, my wife loves it when I say this, but it's like gas. It just comes out. I just got to paint. She does not love it. All right, let's see here. Trees, as you probably know if you paint, trees are not green. They're olive. So if you paint, this is probably still wet. So if you paint trees like I'm doing, trees in the distance have more blue in them. You probably know that, but you know, when I sit there and I watch the painters paint, I always think to myself, it's not church. You can talk. It's okay.
How did you make your olive green?
Say again?
How did you make that green? What paint, what color?
I'm not sure. I have one, 2, 3, 4, 5 blues and 2 greens. And they're mixed cobalt and cerulean. That's probably mostly cerulean. And I mix some Indian yellow with it, that orangey kind of thing. Still wet. Yeah.
You said that you're using a reference. Did you change anything material in that reference in terms of design?
No, not a lot. I mean, I'm going to leave some things out, and I decided just do it. It doesn't have to be a copy of that picture. The picture's a good point of reference, and I do use things for reference, but it's a guide, and I don't take it, real hard. I just keep playing with it. I forgot to tell Kristen that there was dance music while we were here tonight. Oh, okay. Okay. You were prepared.
Mike,
Yes.
when you're doing plein air, what's the challenges?
There is a challenge, and the challenge is if you see a scene, you have to figure out what is it in that scene that you want to concentrate on, because there's all this stuff out there. So I guess painting barns, it was easy. Well, the barn is the center of it, and then you could sort of fake it around that. Clouds are a great way to fake it. Clouds.
I've never tried it, and I'm thinking the light would change. I was thinking
Yes, that's true. That's part of the problem. The light changes, the bugs come. Maybe this group that I painted with, the all-weather gang that I referred to before, I painted with them, I don't know, 6 or 7 years until COVID stopped it. But we would go every Saturday morning, all year round. And I've done paintings in the snow, paintings in sleet, in the rain. And so I have a chair that I sit in, and I put a couple of loops in the back of the chair so I could put an umbrella, a big umbrella, a beach umbrella, in the chair. And that's a pretty good help sometimes. And I would usually look for a place that had some shade. You just kind of, it's just practical things that you get used to after a while.
There is a group, the Niagara Frontier Plein Air Painters,
Yes.
that I belong to. And they paint once, like once a week, and they have a schedule. People go out in different places in western New York, and like today they were in Niagara Falls.
Well,
And, they paint all over the place.
yeah.
As a group.
Niagara Falls is great. It's awesome. I don't know another word that fits. It's an awesome place. the whole Great Lakes comes pouring over the edge there. It's just, I don't know, I painted there with Mary Jo one time, and it was just, because it's the same scene. It's not like you have trouble painting plein air if you're painting people because they move. The water is still the same thing. Coming, you can pretty much get that.
And barns are the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
Entering the light is the light that changes the color.
Yeah. But I paint pretty fast, generally, and so the light isn't normally. I also always take a picture when I'm done, because I'll take it home and I'll look at it and I'll say, you could have done this better, or you know. Also, a thing that I've come to realize is that when you're painting in nature, it doesn't have to be a particular way. And the trees change. I'm not really looking at that photograph. I will when I get to the building. But you can do things, just sort of, you get started and you say, well, just go ahead with this, try that, leave some light showing through. I said to somebody earlier that I was grateful to be here tonight because I cleaned my palette. I don't usually clean my palette. I use what I call yesterday's paint, little bits and dribbles and
Palette gray.
yeah.
What size brush are you using?
I think this is a 10. Yeah, it's kind of worn off. I think it's a 10. I have a couple of smaller brushes, which I'll use when I get into the house here. But not quite up to that yet. This is just the easy part. I'm going to take my name tag off. We had a guy, a demonstrator came once, I'm thinking about the music, and his wife was Scotch.
That was Carl Purcell.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought it was funny that he kept saying, thanks for getting this music.
flat, just like your paintings.
Like that? Okay. If anybody here knows where this is, I took this picture, and I can't, it was somewhere, I suspect close to Rochester, but it's the Erie Canal, and that's a marina. I went through Google Earth mile by mile looking for this. I couldn't find it. No, it's not in Lockport. I went to the, in Lockport, there's a center, an information center for the Erie Canal. And I figured they'll know for sure. No, guy said, yeah, it's probably the Erie Canal. Oops, it's probably the Erie Canal, but I can't tell you where. Okay. I add yellow to this because I want it to be sunnier than than this. The buildings have a cast.
Did you always paint loose?
No, I think my instinct is to paint tight. And so I want to be looser. So this is a big painting. And if I was working on this, I probably would be tighter. But I've only got a certain amount of time here tonight. The bills will still be there when I get home. Geez, I'm not looking at the time. Oh, I'm going to keep painting. If you want to get up, walk around, get some snacks, maybe I'll do that. I guess I am. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
reference so we can watch it?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
So you're not stopping me.
Okay.
Do I have a what? Watercolor. I have oils.
Do you have a preference on the brand paint?
No. No, I got a book at one point and it said some Winsor Newton obviously are expensive paints and they're very good, but there are others that are as good. So I maybe have 1 or 2 tubes of Winsor Newton. Schmecky? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, sort of like that.
Yeah. Smith? Daniel Smith, yeah. No, but it's good. I just try all different ones. They seem to work all right. Does that answer your question well enough? Okay.
Michael, I noticed you have a lot of control over your textured areas with your dabbing strokes instead of.
Yeah. It's just the way I do it.
You added a bolt?
I did. I thought it needed something in this corner down here, which is blank.
How many times do you do the same painting over and over? Never?
I have a stack of paintings, probably that big. And then I have a cabinet, a file cabinet full of these. So I just keep painting. I'm not too worried about copying this because anybody who looks at this when it's done won't have any idea where it is. And certainly wouldn't know that that boat is in front of that boat, and it doesn't really matter. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think I used to paint lighter. And I realized, again, by looking back at what I'd done, that if I pumped it with some dark, it gave it some spark. I don't own black. So I mix combinations. Black often works, the color, the impression of black often works if you put something light against it and it sort of jumps. So I'm trying to keep some separation between dark areas and light areas. And in the foreground, things would be generally darker. I also try to remind myself that it doesn't have to be a particular color. The value, the dark or lightness of what you're doing counts more than the particular color.
Gosh, does all the work and color gets all the glory.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to finish this in 10 minutes. So I'll finish it when I get home. How's that? Can I answer any more questions?
Can you make a, when you
I will.
finish it,
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I knew what you wanted. Any other questions? No? Go Bills.
nice work, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.